theory.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about it a little bit earlier, and none of us has a really good grasp on it. Nor do we have any details. But apparently, there is an actual global hum.
Yeah, there is.
That can be heard worldwide? Question mark. It's geothermal activity, right?
Well, it's not geothermal activity as much as it's. There are some scientists who have been mapping the inner structure of the Earth, and typically the way that's been done is they just sort of sit around and wait for an earthquake somewhere, and then using recording stations around the planet, that earthquake is going to send massive shock waves through the planet's core, and then you can use that information when you pick it up somewhere else to infer information about what the structure of the Earth's inner core is.
Sure, yeah.
But the problem with that is you got to sit around and wait for an earthquake, and so some of these guys started actually amassing data on this thing that they call the Earth's hum, which is, let me read it to you here. This hum is called seismic noise. It's generated by sources such as storm-driven ocean waves, among other things.
Oh.
And it's detectable everywhere on Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the frequency is or anything like that.
No, unfortunately, I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
But that is a possibility. I didn't realize that the Earth actually had a hum.
I didn't either.
But it's like, the Earth does have a hum.
Well, and it makes sense. I mean, I know that this isn't directly related, but seismic activity and stuff like that. I mean, the planet's always moving, and the core's moving, and plates are grinding, and things are always happening. It's always in a little bit of a state of flux. Isn't it on the San Andreas Fault? They record little mini quakes constantly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody feels them. Nobody knows they're happening.
We just had 2 earthquakes this past week in Sherwood.
I know.
Yeah. Did you feel them?
I didn't feel them.
No, they were like 3-pointers.
Itty bitty things. But these things happen constantly. We don't realize it, but that could be a culprit, is that it's actually just products of natural seismic activity that we don't recognize is happening, but it's making a tone.
Some people can hear it.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
Yeah. It's, and it might be more geographically specific because the thickness of the Earth's crust differs in places and things like that, and the composition of it differs in places.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's not a bad theory. I do want to talk about another kind of not bad theory, which is that it could just be like mechanical devices. If you will notice, right, it has definitely picked up in the last, really since
70, 80 years.
Yeah. Since
the
Industrial Revolution, if you will.
This goes to. So are you talking about drilling some more? Or are you talking about other things?
No,
like
we're
factories?
talking about more like factories. So apparently in Kokomo, that's how you say that, right? Kokomo, Indiana.
I believe
so.
It's a fairly industry heavy city. Apparently, some researchers went out and identified where the hum was coming from. There were 2 sources that they traced. One was a Chrysler casting plant that was emitting a 36 hertz tone, apparently. Which would do it, because it's 36 hertz.
That'll do it.
Totally, sure. The second one was an air compressor intake at the Haynes International plant that was emitting a 10 hertz tone. And do you remember we were listening to 20 hertz? Mm-hmm. That's hard to hear, right?
Yeah. The low down ones are very hard to hear.
So 10 hertz would be like super hard to hear. Furthermore, once these devices were corrected, stopped emitting these noises.
Because they were malfunctioning?
Yeah. The people who had been complaining about the hum didn't say that they stopped hearing it.
Maybe they're just complainers.
Maybe they are.
Just whiners.
Maybe they're just whiners.
Yeah.
Well, I do also remember, again, the guy who was talking about having walked around his city with the audio equipment trying to track it down himself. He was pretty sure he had pinpointed it to some chimney that was part of a factory, and it just happened to be next to an alley, so it was creating basically an echo chamber.
Yeah, that was in China or something, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Indiana. I think it was one of the Indiana ones, but I could be wrong.
There was one in China where they said, it was this construction that was happening, so they corrected it, and people were like, no, it's still happening. I think this has happened a couple times.
Could be this just suddenly occurred to me. When you blow over like the end of a Coke bottle, it makes that noise.
That kind of hum
noise. Yeah, I remember one time I experienced something of that at a larger larger scale, lower wavelength. Because when I was in college, I stayed around after the end of the school year because I worked for the dormitory. Mm-hmm. So stayed around for an extra week or two to clean up the dorms after everybody else had left and gone home for the year. And
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so I was up on like the 7th floor, and I had the whole place to myself. It's really weird to be in a place that's always full of people, and suddenly you're the only one there.
I feel like that's one of the creepiest things you've ever had.
It is.
Yeah.
It is kind of creepy, and I'm there, and suddenly I hear this really weird, unearthly noise. It's sort of like low kind of ooh noise, and it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Somehow I feel like we need to be around a campfire right now.
Yeah, I know. I know. I finally figured out what it was. Is that there were these really long hallways. There were 2 of them, and at the end they had windows which opened.
Oh.
And so I finally figured out the wind was blowing at just a perfect angle across these open windows and making that same Coke bottle sound, but much louder and much lower frequency. It was a weird sound.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah, I could see there being natural formations. That would happen with.
Yeah. Yeah, although again, why only like 55 to 70?
Because they're the only people who sit around and listen to the wind.
Sit around and listen.
That's probably
fair.
true. All the younger people are walking around with like iPods and earbuds in their ears.
Yeah, totally. So we have one more theory. It might be my favorite. Are you guys so ready for this one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's fish.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, this guy from the Scottish Association for Marine Science says that nocturnal humming from fish, male midshipman fish, it's their mating call, and that they were just doing it in the night. They were making this mating call at night because they're nocturnal, and that's what everybody was hearing in this one community in Hythe, Hampshire.
Okay, so I tried to read up on this fish. Are they sort of like a mud puppy or a lungfish, something that crawls out of the water at night for a little bit of time before it goes back in? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is literally the extent of the research I've done on this theory.
I tried to look. I looked into these fish a little bit, but I couldn't really get any good info. But I mean, I do know that there are fish that come out of the water for brief periods of time. I've never heard of fish moaning. Or humming, but...
Yeah, that's a good way to advertise your position to nearby predators.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, I guess, if you're going to take, a lot of these theories all together, maybe this one applies to that particular spot in Scotland, but it's hard to see how it could apply to Taos, New Mexico.
Yeah.
But it might be that there's hums around the world, and they all have different origins. They have different sources.
Yeah, I guess that's totally fair. It's a fair thing to think.
Yeah.
But fish is the last theory that I have.
We're out of theories, huh?
Do you guys have any other theories?
No,
I don't.
Do you have favorite theories?
I'm pretty sure it's mechanical.
Yeah.
I really think that it is a man-made noise, especially since it's mostly reported in extremely developed countries, whether it's urban, suburban, rural areas, machinery's everywhere.
Yeah.
And that seems like the likeliest candidate to me.
That's fair.
Seems to work that's pretty good. I mean, I like the fish one.
Yeah.
Kind of hard. It's not credible, but I like it. So anyway, the Earth's hum that we were talking about. That's the crust of the Earth itself is like vibrating. Enough to create either a sound or else maybe put a vibration into your feet, into your body. It's basically vibrating your body. You're standing on the ground. Your body is resonating with that. And for some sensitive people, for whatever reason, they translate that into sound.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a favorite theory, to be honest with you.
What?
I deeply believe that it's external, right? I don't think it's just people making it up. I don't think it's tinnitus, anything like that. I definitely don't think it's fish. I don't think it's colliding waves, but the Earth's hum, machinery, weird drilling stuff, experiments. You don't want to say experiments really too much, but
I don't understand what you mean by
the conspiracy theory stuff, right? Like Harvard Alf or something like that.
Got it.
No, I'm not buying that. I do think somebody should investigate any possible correlation between geothermal activity and the places where this happens.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That would be, I think.
And that would be hard to pinpoint too.
I think they need to get some geologists involved in this quest.
Yeah. So I guess that's all we have. As we've said, we're going to put a bunch of links up. Those will be available on our website, as will this episode. That website is thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You can download us on iTunes instead of listening to us on the website. If you do that, please leave us a comment and a rating. We've been trying to keep track of those as much as possible. We absolutely appreciate them. Your comments and ratings are how other people find us, so kudos.
Absolutely.
If you forget to download us, you can always stream us from Stitcher on any mobile device. Find us and like us on Facebook. We just started a new group. I think just last week we started a new group.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so, join that group so you can discuss things if you want with other listeners. And as always, you can send us an email. That email address is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. And we have some listener mail. I think it's backlogged. We didn't do any last week. We got a lot last week, and we didn't do any because coinage.
Yeah, we went on and on.
Yeah, that was a long episode, guys.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. So we got some listener mail
Yes.
that we want to try and catch up on.
Yes. Well, yeah, we've got some emails, and we, like you said, Devin, there's a lot of emails.
Yeah.
We've gotten a bunch this week and in the past weeks, and it's hard to read them all out as much as I'd love to.
And we should just make it clear that this isn't like a don't send us any more email.
No,
Keep sending us so much email.
No, it's
Yeah.
awesome, but it's sometimes I love it because it's one or two sentences, and then it's a suggestion of a story, which is great because that's filling the hopper for us.
Oh, man.
But, I don't want to just read off all of those, but there's a couple of them that kind of stood out, so I think that those are the ones that I kind of wanted to focus on today.
Sure, yeah.
So we've got one from a guy named Ben, and he said, first of all, love the show. I think you guys are hilarious and making a really unique and intelligent podcast. So what can I say other than keep up the good work?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
And then he has a quick question. He was trying to figure out where we were based out of, and I think we've said it before, but if we haven't directly said it, we're out of Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
And he had figured out that we were in the Pacific Northwest because we knew things like the Salish Sea feet.
Yeah.
We were pretty familiar with the coastal range, and so he'd kind of put two and two together. But yeah, no, we're definitely out of Portland. And
if you are, give us a shout out.
In Portland, actually.
Yeah.
We are from Portland.
Yeah, Ben's evidently from Seattle, so he was happy to share the Northwest with us.
Great.
Oh, nice. No, and actually, if you live in Portland and you want to be our intern,
And then Ben gave us, obviously as everybody else has, he gave us a great suggestion of a story, and that one
thanks,
is in the hopper for us.
Yeah. This email is from Tom. He says, I recently started listening to podcasts in general and was very disappointed that there are very few podcasts about mysterious events, people, and places. And it was also a letdown that almost no other podcast can even hold a candle to Thinking Sideways.
Ooh. Woo! Oh, thanks, man.
I have in the past read an article on more than half of the things that you guys have discussed on the show, but you present much more detail and do so in a fashion that keeps me from becoming bored in any way with the show. So he wanted to say thank you. And he also wanted to geek out with me a little bit about Earthbound. So we geeked out a little bit, and then he suggested some shows. But Earthbound Bros for life, using our psi power.
That's a video game, right?
You guys are both looking at me like I'm the biggest idiot in the whole world.
I seem to remember this being a video game.
It's a video game that I love.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But so, Tom...
She also likes Fallout, so if anybody wants to make a Fallout reference, she'll love it.
Listen, we already had a Fallout person.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally didn't catch it.
Me neither.
It was on iTunes. One of our commenter was Arcade Ganon, which is, again, I'm so sorry. It turns out I'm nerding myself. It's like aging yourself, but like everybody know you're a nerd. Anyways, if you want to keep guessing my favorite video games, you should just send random emails to us about video game references, and we'll see how many I can catch. So, Tom, thank you for the suggestions. They are, as he would say, in the hopper.
Okay, one more. We got time for one more letter. This letter is from Jennifer. So Jennifer says, hey guys, huge, all caps, fan of the show. Found it 2 months or so back on Reddit and listened to your whole library in about a week. Yeah, I sit at work all day. Data entry, boo. And and frequently gets distracted by your awesome show. I have a semi-local story I'd love to hear your thoughts on. Blank, blank is up in blank, Washington, where I went to college. So take a look. It's pretty cool, and there's even a Wikipedia entry on it. I've heard about this particular spot before, and it is kind of interesting. I've been meaning to go up and take a look at it. We might need to take a field trip for this one.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, back to her letter. Thanks again for the awesome show. If you guys have lots of Portland listeners, you should plan a meetup for everyone.
Oh.
Signed, Jen. That's a great idea, actually.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That is a good idea.
We might have to take a polling sometime and find out how many people are in the area that would be able to do something like that.
We'll just use analytics, Google Analytics.
There's things on the internet that do this for us?
Yes.
Holy crap.
I know.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's plan on that. Good idea, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks everybody for the emails, and I like I said before, we've got a bunch of them, and we can't read them all.
Yeah, don't
Doesn't
get
mean we
your
don't
feelings
appreciate
hurt.
it, we don't love it.
Yeah.
Just can't do everyone.
And we try to respond to all of them in a fairly good amount of time.
Yeah,
so.
sometimes I'm a little behind on the replies,
me
but
too.
I try to keep up on them.
Yeah. So I guess with that, that's it.
Yeah, the hum. There's not too much you can say about it. It's
Just hum.
It's just the hum. So let's play a recording of the Taos hum. Wow, that's incredibly annoying. I can see why people commit suicide.
Oh, man. Good night, everyone.
Yeah. So long, everybody.
This episode of Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by Equal Pay for Chupacabras. Instead, it's brought to you by Stitcher Premium, which you might actually be listening to us on right now. And if you are, you're hearing us on Monday, not Thursday, and you're hearing us without this ad on it. If you want to hear this without this ad on it, and on Monday, and also bonus content, check out Stitcher.com/ThinkingSideways and use the promo code SIDEWAYS to get a free month of Stitcher Premium. We're not the only ones on there. You can get access to a lot of other great content, ad-free and early, and bonus content. So check out Stitcher.com/ThinkingSideways and use the promo code SIDEWAYS to get 1 month free. Trust me, you don't want to hear my voice anymore.
Thinking Sideways. Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways. This week we're going to talk about another mysterious mystery. But first, let me tell you my name. I'm Joe. And sitting across from me to my right is
Devin.
And
Steve.
to my other right is Steve.
Yep.
Okay. There
Pretty
we go.
much we're just both in front of you, so.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So our mysterious mystery this week, we're going to talk about the strange death of Isidore Fink.
I love this story.
It's a cool story.
How have we not done this one yet?
I don't know why, but it's time for this. This is a classic, really.
It is.
It really is. Probably a lot of you guys have heard of it already. This happened in 1929 in New York City.
I feel like it's one of those stories where we all kind of think, oh, yeah, I should do that. I'm not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
It's so classic. I'm not quite ready
I have to
yet.
hone my
Not
craft.
quite ready yet. And Joe was just like, psh, whatever, I'm doing it.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, hey, this is on the list? Okay, cool. I'll run
Yeah.
with it.
Bye.
Yeah, I just
Run it over
decided-
with a tank or
Yeah.
something. It's great.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool stuff. It's got some Agatha Christie kind of twists to it, and a nice murder. So
And
there
it's
you
like
go.
a locked room mystery,
It
right?
is a locked
It's
room mystery.
Genuine, yeah. It's
And
good.
actually, it is got a lot of publicity at the time. Actually, a couple of big time crime writers wrote fictional stories based on it, and there was a movie based on it too, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
At least one, if not more.
yeah,
I'm
if
sure
not more.
multiple, yeah.
And who knows? I mean, how many other stories it might have inspired? It's like there's not that many real life locked room mysteries.
No, this
if you
is
think about
definitely one of those kernel situations. This is the kernel of a lot of things.
it. Yeah, I think
we've
so.
Which is interesting.
done one other one, and that's really it.
Are you talking
was
about Hugues de la Plaza?
No, it was I did it.
She's not talking about locked room. She's talking about stories that are kernels.
No, I'm talking about a locked
Oh.
room. What was the one with the woman who may or may not have poisoned her husband, who was like 20 years older than her?
Oh, that's the
Remember?
Mary?
yeah.
I did this one too.
No, it was in London, right?
Yeah.
That was
Williams or something.
Oh God, what was it? What was that name? Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. And
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'm usually the curator.
We're really good at
show
it.
titles, and wow,
Somebody
lost
please
me.
email us.
No, I
Actually, don't, because by the time you hear this, you'll
it was
20
We'll
people.
already figured it out.
The Murder of Julia Wallace.
Yes, Wallace.
Yes, Julia
Yeah.
Wallace.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Julia Wallace, and then
Also a good locked room
Oog.
mystery.
yeah, that was
and then
Oog de la
Oog de la
Plaza.
Plaza.
Oog de la Plaza. Yeah. So yeah, there's some.